Hey you lot, how's it going? I'll tell you a crazy story if you want, an absolutely mad, ludicrous story. Yeah? Alright, I'll tell you. I was thinking today, what I might probably would have done, is gone out in the car with a load of mobile antennas and shown you them, demonstrated them, and tell you what I think would be a good choice for you to go with if you are, I can't speak today, I'm knackered, if you are beginning in CB radio. But the weather put pay to that, and then by the time it stopped raining, I wasn't in a position to be able to go out. But I thought to myself, hey, it might still do some good if I just have a little chat with you and show you the antennas rather than demonstrating them. I can just show you them and have a little chat. Maybe it might help. It's better than nothing, surely. And then another day, when I get another chance, when I can go out there, weather permitting, and all that kind of stuff, we'll do some demonstrations then. I think that sounds about good, doesn't it? So, yeah. And remember, as I have to say it these days because people get the ump otherwise, everything that I say when it comes to these beginner videos is based on my experience and just opinion, really. So, you know, other people might have different views and opinions in some things that I say, but what I say, my stuff, I was going to say my stuff, what I say, doesn't really make any sense. The stuff I say, as I say, it's from my experience over the past 15 or so years with CB radio. Not a long time when it comes to a lot of people doing it for 30, 40, 50 years, but I think it's long enough to be able to, you know, give you some sort of advice. And it's just opinions from what I've learned over the years. I've tried several different, well, I say more than several. I've probably tried nearly 100 different antennas. I'm going to guess, that might be a bit optimistic, but I think more or less every antenna available I've had a go of. If not owned, I've had a go of, if that makes any sense, through borrowing it or just having a go of someone else's equipment. I've owned quite a lot though. So let's have a look at 4. I mean, I could confuse you probably and show you loads of different mobile antennas, but I think I've picked 4. One is the most common and the other 2 you don't really see, but they're bloody fantastic. So what we've got down here, in my opinion, again it's my opinion, we've got 2 here, the Stereo 4000 and 5000. You don't really see them that often. I'll explain why I think that is in a minute. This Springer is probably the most common CB antenna in the world, I would say. I mean, if you see, when you think of CB antennas, you think of a Springer. And I think it's because their simplicity and their sheer effectiveness for most applications is why most people favour them. And they're really, really, really versatile. I mean, it takes a lot to break a Springer. And then you've got what I think this was called a Road Devil. I don't think it's a Red Devil. I can never remember Red Devil and Road Devil. Red Devil is the microphone, Road Devil is that antenna, I'm sure it is. So, yeah, and that one. This one's a bit bent like a banana because I had it on my Land Rover 300 TDI, done a lot of off-roading and it's hit a lot of trees over the years and it got a bit bent. But it still works just as well as it ever did. So, the reason why I think these 2 Stereos you don't really see on most day-to-day, you really only see them on hobby enthusiasts' cars, and you rarely see them permanently installed. You normally see Springers permanently installed. Now, the Stereo 4000 and 5000, what's the difference? Well, as far as I know, there may be some other differences, and I'm not saying what I'm telling you is 100% accurate, because there may be some small differences within the coil inside the base of the antenna. What they've got is they've got like a coil matcher system thing. So really, you haven't got to do a lot to adjust for the VSWR. You really haven't. You can, there's 2 grub screws, I'll show you in a minute, you move the whip up and down a bit, but because of the way they are, they've got that little matching coil in the base, in that black, thick black thing, and they attach to a mag mount with a SO239, by the way. I think it's an SO239. Not the ordinary 3/8 screwy thing like the Springer has and the Road Devil. Anyway, where was I? The only difference that I know of is the fact that the 4000, and again I can't remember the actual lengths in total, but the 4000 is ever so slightly shorter than the 5000, which goes all the way up to there. So the only real difference is probably length. There may be differences in the coil. I'm not really... Or was this the... It might be the 3000 and the 4000 I've got here. And the 5000 has a is different there. Yeah, my apologies. My apologies. I dare say some of the keyboard warriors, the geeks there, probably already typing on the old keyboard to say I've already got that wrong. I know I've got that wrong now, yes. The 5000, which I haven't got here, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to make the video just yet, but I'm in the mood for telling you lot something today. The 5000 is longer still than that, and it's got like a quick release thing on the base, so you can do that and quickly release the whole lot in case you want to go, because it's bloody massive. What we've got here is a 3000 and 4000. All right, so that's the different lengths. I will show you the 5000 one day. So in there is a little bit of a matching coil. It doesn't make it perfect. You will maybe have to still adjust the VSWR with the two little grub screws there, and you can you've got a little, when you buy these they come with a special little key, and you put it in them two little holes and undo that slightly, and then you can bend the whole antenna down if you need to go underneath a height restriction or something like that. So that's quite handy. I use that quite a lot. That one was on my van on a Renault Traffic, and it was permanently installed on the van. And this one was on my Land Rover Discovery TD5, permanently installed when I had that. And yeah, fantastic antennas. As I say, you will probably have to adjust the VSWR when you first install it slightly, but because they've got that little coil in the base there, it does a great job of just matching things. Now obviously matching the antenna isn't as good as simply, well, making the length of it by adjusting the whip height proper, because by matching you're keeping the radio happy by sending it a good SWR, but it's not ideal for actually getting the signal out, because the radio is happy, okay, it's getting its what it needs, but so it's sending a signal out, your voice, it's sending it out down the coax. When it gets to the antenna, because that's not actually matched after the coil, because the whip isn't proper where it needs to be, wherever it may need to be for your car, the signal then gets a bit stunted and kind of doesn't go out properly. So it won't necessarily be as good as actually doing the VSWR properly. But personally, when I put them on there, I check the VSWR, and I then play around with the length of the whip a little bit with undoing those grub screws and heightening it and shortening it a bit, just to see where it goes until I get it just a gnat's cock above nil, yeah, or 1. Yeah, that's what I do personally, but everybody's different. And then we move on to the Springer. Now you can get Springers in all different lengths. This one's been cut down somewhat because I cut it down quite a lot because I was installing it on a Land Rover and it just would not tune. It just would not blooming tune. Now you can see how basic and simple these are. They're literally just, that's where it plugs into your mag mount, a 3/8 thread. Then you just got a coil spring, hence the name Springer, and then it goes into the whip. 1, sometimes 2 grub screws to adjust the height of the whip up and down, and you just cut the top of it off if you think you need to make it shorter. Obviously if you need to make it longer you can't do that, but you need to change the location within your car. Very, very simple design, which is why it's favoured with most people. And they're very, very tough because, well, they're just a bit of metal and they're a Springer. So you hit a tree or width restriction or something like that, it just goes back. Whereas the other ones, they're not as versatile as that, and they bend or pull the mag mount off. So the reason I say the Springers are probably the most popular one, you see them everywhere, is because off-roaders favour them because of their versatility. You know, like I say, you know, they just fling around. You can't really damage them. You can bend the whips, but not really, unless you're going really quick and hit something. The only thing is, in my personal experience, they're the most difficult to tune. They're the most difficult to get a decent VSWR with. I know a lot of people don't have any trouble, but me, for some reason, any car I put one on, the Land Rover Discovery was the worst one. I had to find, in the end I had to put a gutter mount on. I just couldn't. Any other antenna, the Serios, all them, mag mount in the middle of the roof, because remember, you've got to put your antenna, the best place on a car or any vehicle at all is the middle of it. Because if it's in the middle, it'll transmit and receive equally in all four directions. If it's at the front of the car, it'll then transmit towards the back. If it's at the back, it'll transmit towards the front and receive from the front. If it's to one side, blah blah, that side, that way. Diagonal works the same. If it's there, it'll receive that side. So I wanted it in the middle, but I had to put it on a gutter mount at the back right for it to even get a reasonably good VSWR. And I went through everything, earthing, just everything. I couldn't get it there. At the back, on the gutter mount, it was good. In the middle, no good. I could put a different antenna on the same mag mount and it'd be fine. So yeah, I don't have a lot of luck with Springers. I find them very difficult to get a good VSWR. But you will find that a lot of off-roaders and a lot of people who buy Springers don't care about VSWR. Most of them probably just buy the antenna, put the mag mount on, plug it in, put it in the car, wherever they want, plug it in and don't care. Because when they're really close to each other, VSWR doesn't matter to them. They don't really realise that it does damage to their radio. They just know that they can talk to each other because they're right next to each other on a trail. When they start to get further distances, they lose each other, but they just think that's because that's what radio does. You'll be surprised the difference that a good VSWR makes to transmit and receive as well. So if you're willing to be patient and really try to get your tuning right, a Springer's a really good antenna to go with. And then we got, you can get different versions of this. This one I'm pretty sure is a Road Devil. You can get different versions. There's a black one and there's all different types. I don't know what they do nowadays. I'm a little bit out of touch if I'm completely honest. But this was a very good antenna. I had this on a Land Rover on a gutter mount at the back. And I did manage to speak to quite a lot of Germany as well with it. Bearing in mind I'm in England. Managed to speak to quite a few people in Germany with that antenna while I was going down the M11. So I remember that because it sticks in my head. It's one of them things that just sticks in my head. I'm quite proud of it, to be fair. I was just going to work one day. All of a sudden I heard a voice come through, so I spoke back. And it was a couple of people in Germany. Somewhere near Frankfurt or whatever. I can't remember that much detail, but I was quite proud of that, and I thought that was quite good for that antenna, considering I had it on an old Harvard radio as well, which I've since sold. So, yeah, I reckon if you're an off-roader and you're looking for advice on what antenna to get yourself a Springer, but take some time to research and properly do the VSWR, because even if you don't need to get out a long way, you will be saving your radio that you spent money on. You know, you might think to yourself, oh, I don't care about that because I'm only going to speak to John. He's going to be right behind me in the middle of a trail. But you spent money on your radio, haven't you? You spent money on it. And so you want to look after it and keep it working. So get a Springer, because that'll be the most versatile for off-road. Hitting trees and bushes and things like that and going up and down bumps. But just take some time. Research and learn how to do the VSWR. Get a meter, do it properly. Not only will it perform better, but you will save your radio. You won't kill your radio very quickly. It will last you a long, long, long time. if you're just a hobby enthusiast and you want to do CB and you want to put it on your car, get yourself one of these Stereos, because they are cracking, absolutely fantastic. And you need to get the appropriate mount for it, like a mag mount, which all mine are boxed up at the moment, so I can't show you that. Another reason why I wasn't planning on doing this right now, but there we go. I think hopefully I'm helping some of you. That's the one you want. There are plenty of other antennas out there, but they're the 4 that I've narrowed down, in my opinion, to be really good ones that you should go for different applications. A little bit dusty because they've been sitting in the loft. The original made in Italy CB line. You got to make sure you get proper genuine ones. I will point that out. There are fakes out there. There are counterfeits. Particularly if you go to eBay, you'll find the counterfeit ones, the fake ones. You don't want any of them because they won't be anywhere near as good. Go to proper CB shops. Go to Knights, Thunderpole. There are other ones. Go to proper CB shops. Don't be going on eBay. Just don't do it. And don't go on an AliExpress and Alibaba and all them kind of things. Go to a proper CB shop. You know you're getting the real deal, because it does matter. Because the way an antenna is made, if it's made properly, it's going to be bloody good. If it's not, if it's made poorly, with poor, materials, and just not done properly, not measured properly, not done properly, it won't perform properly. And overall, it could kill your radio. So yeah, I don't really think, well, there is more I can say. There's loads more I can say. But at this moment in time, in the situation that I'm in, I think that's probably enough. Can't think of much else. If there's something that you think you can add to this, please comment. And not only will I see it, other people will. And then we can all learn together. Comments are great. And if you was to subscribe, that would help me out massively. But not only that, I do give away stuff to subscribers spontaneously and randomly, relatively often these days. I've got radio stuff up in boxes everywhere at the moment. I'm having a massive sort out because I was a bit of a hoarder. Anything that I see in boot sales, radio rallies, all that kind of stuff, I was just snapping it up. And then it's ended up with being boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, meters and all sorts. So I like to just give it out to subscribers now and again. So by subscribing, commenting and liking on videos, you help me to be able to help you by producing these videos that might help people. And you may get something out of it as well. Happy days. Let me know as well in the comments where you are in the world and what type of antenna do you run on your car or your mobile rig, whatever it is you've got. What type of antenna do you run? Have you got any of these Stereos? Have you got a Springer? Have you got a Road Devil? Or have you got something alternative? I've got a fair collection behind you there of different antennas. I've shown you them before, but I may add them in when I do eventually go out to a field somewhere with a load of mag mounts and antennas and just demonstrate each one. I'll probably take quite a few of those with me. Some of them are very, very, very vintage. I've also got a tank whip as well, which I want to show you. I've done videos of it in the past, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. The tank whip performs great. So does a Fire Stick. Really, really good antennas, but they're not mobile. You can't really drive around with them on. They're just too big. These ones, you can drive around with them on and have them permanently installed. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. I hope these videos aimed at people getting into CB radio are actually helping. Although my opinions sometimes can be controversial, I do like to think that I've learned enough over the years from making mistakes myself that I can pass some of that knowledge on. Even if it's not a lot of it compared to some other people, maybe it might help a little bit. So the next few videos aimed at beginners will also be actually getting some radios together and antennas and putting them on a car and just using them, and I'll explain the pros and cons of each combination. Hopefully that'll help as well. I'll see you later. Take care. All the best. Cheerio.